Yeah, you guys are live. Go ahead. You guys got it from here. Sorry.
It down there. Well, he's at the bottom of mine. I don't know where he's at on yours. So,
What's up, fellas?
ready to talk to you, introduce you to a bunch of people who may not know who you are somehow.
Yeah, we were talking about this today. Seems crazy that folks might not know our guest today, but the guy beside me on my screen and we surely do. Plenty of butts kicked over the years. So
lots. So, let's start with a little KDJ stuff before we get going. So, I'm just going to round out the rest of the year here. We only have 2 weeks left of everything going on. We have a Great Life in Salina and Niebler Park in Winfield this weekend. The following weekend, we have just the Wichita Roundup, which is generally the last event, but the finals are in Salina this year on the 12th. So Thomas Park will be our last event. And then the KDJ finals after that, the next day. So Kevin Newfeld has done a great job of kind of laying out everything towards the end of the year, who's qualified, who's not qualified, who can get in, how they can get in, all on the it's pinned to the top of the KDJ Facebook page. You can see who the regional qualifiers are. Their names are in blue. You can see who the top third people are. They are in the maroon. And those guys can still switch. There's some of those bottom third people who are easily can flip-flop. Yep. You can see the last chance qualifiers, and some of those are from a long time ago because we did the last event in each region this year. Those people are in purple. They're automatically in. And there'll be a last chance qualifier at Niebler, and there'll be one at the other place, Salina. Oh, it'll probably be at Thomas Park and not Great Life since they're back to back. So anyhow, you can find that information on the KDJ Facebook page. Kevin laid it all out on there.
Yeah, real good job. Appreciate that, Kevin.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah. So, the only one I was going to touch on real quick for the points, looks like the KDGA points are pretty much settled.
Oh yeah, nobody
Nate Taylor with just a little over 100 points with what 3 events to go. So it seems unlikely that Mr. Schaefer or Tate would catch him. So it looks like Nate Taylor is going to be your KDGA champion.
Somebody can smell that hat. They said I can't see the name. They can smell it. Blood, sweat, and winds. They said.
Oh, I need to know who this is because it's got. Well, I guarantee they're old, whoever they are.
Well, one of them is Kevin. I don't know who the blood, sweat, and
Nate Alton.
There we go. Yeah, he's probably smelled a couple of those winds. So, and I guess the other other KDJ news is the food drive season. We're starting to organize all that, collect sponsors, trying to get everything organized in time to have the disc by January the 1st so that people can kick off that very first weekend for food drives. Just like last year, if anybody's interested in being on the disc, it's $100 for a logo, and that logo will go on one of the stamps. Last year we had 4 stamps. We weren't very happy with how small the stamps came out, so we'll probably do a few more stamps this year so they can, spread those logos out a little bit, make them a little bit bigger, get people their money's worth. But $100 to get a logo, $50 for just your name, and this year we're offering $500 if you want to get one stamp all of your own. So that would be pretty cool. Last year we raised $33,000 for food charities, so that's pretty awesome. And these sponsorships went a long ways to making that possible. We dropped the price of discs down under $5 a piece, so TDs were really able to donate a lot of money from each event. So
yeah. What was raised last year just off of the sales on the advertisements on the disc? It was over 5,000, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty close to that, I think. I don't know right off the top of my head, but yeah, we had a lot of people on there. A lot of people on multiple discs.
That's been rolling for a while now.
Yeah, I think this is maybe, I forget every year. I think there might be 13, 14 years, somewhere in there.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, and every year we've beat the previous record and set our goal. Last year we got it right at the end. This year's going to be tough, man. We're going to have to do something, because $34,000 is a pretty good chunk of change.
Yeah, that is a chunk.
It's a lot of cheddar, dude. I like the idea of going to you can be a solo stamp. I know one company in particular that I think is going to take advantage of that. So
that'd be cool.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah, that would be cool. And then last year we had over 100 discs with each of the 4 stamps. So I mean, there'll still be over 100 discs with each of the 4 or 5 or 6 stamps that we have. I'm assuming we got gave away 800 and some frisbees last year, I think.
Crazy.
So yeah, pretty cool.
Yep.
Dynamic discs and Disc Unlimited both help us out quite a bit on getting those discs in people's hands. So yep, that's where we're at with that. So, and yeah, I think I mentioned it, but make sure you check out that post that Kevin shared on the Facebook page to see where you are in the finals. Do you want to talk about how the finals play out, Ronnie? Do you remember?
So I saw you put something in our format. Is it a standard format this year?
Same thing we've always done.
Yeah. So top third in every division is going to make it. Like Smitty said, look on there to see who's in, who's out, how you can get in the last couple of weeks. But yeah, so we'll all show up. If you make it in that top third, all you got to do is show up. Your KDJ membership's paid for the following year.
If you play.
And you get to play for free. So that's a win-win already, right? So you're already, $30 ahead, I believe. Is it $35? What is the membership?
30.
So you're already that much ahead, and then we're going to show up and play some skins for dollars that we've collected over the years. So yeah, it's going to be a good time, chance to get a little extra money in your pocket, and get your KDGA membership already taken care of before 24 even rolls around.
Where is it?
Salina this year. So they got a brand new course. So I'm wondering if maybe they'll put us out on that. So it looks pretty cool. Cut through the trees, kind of like Thomas Park. It's currently 12 holes. So I don't know if it's ready for that kind of play or not, but who knows? Kev, did you ever play back in the day when we only had 12 or 13 people in the finals when Harvey ran it?
Man, at the times I remember, there was a pretty good group, but it just seemed like it was we were all playing in one gigantic group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back when Harvey used to do it, we'd have 13 people would make it in, and man, it was crazy. And it was actually one of Harv's stories he told, one of his favorite disc golf moments.
Yeah. It's one of mine too. And I know I'm pretty sure Babbit was at the one that we did at Oak. The finals we did at Oak. I think Kevin might have been there for that one, but I don't know. The years are melding together.
I mean, I went to 4 or 5 of those suckers.
Yeah, those big skins games were fun. Where we all played together. That was a good time. Took forever, but it was a good time.
Yep. This format's fun too for
yeah.
And it works out pretty well, and we get out of there pretty quick. So, anywho, I say we get to what we came here for.
Give the people what they want.
Give them what they're going to get.
Yeah, let's do
it. All right, Kev. So we start every episode, as you've seen, with the 3 from the tee. So question number 1, do you remember your first disc? And do you still have it?
So I think I think the answer is yes, but I must admit I'm not 1,000% positive if it's the actual first one. So because I got some discs from Ty when I first started. He just gave me a couple. And so those are probably my first ones. But if we're talking the first ones that I bought, so Discovering the World was Rothstein was running that, and selling discs. That was the only place you could get discs unless you went to a tournament. At least as far as I understood back then. And sorry, dude, that cat's gonna be an issue. It's my only company these days. But anyway, we're just gonna say yes. Let's just say yes, okay? So yes, I've got it, and it's a Griffin, and it's awesome. Every now and then, I'll pull that sucker out and just go chuck it in the field, just because for giggles. And but that I don't have. I had an AVR. I bought an AVR pretty early on. I don't have it anymore. And then after the Griffin, I have no idea. But I still have that Griffin. That sucker is 1996 at the latest.
Gotcha. I got a follow-up question, but it's not part of the first three. I'm writing it down. Hold on a second.
Is it a meat hook?
Not anymore. But boy,
it was then, though.
It was like, talk about the worst disc to get for an AM.
Wouldn't fly, huh?
I just like the fact that it was a freaking Griffin. I mean, what is the coolest sounding disc you could? I thought, oh man, I want that.
The first Frisbee that I sought out because I saw somebody throw it really good. I mean, this guy could throw the pee out of this thing. Was an N of a dolphin. There was this dude in Ransom, Smokey Fairbanks. He was just like a freak athlete, but he would just show up and he could flick this dolphin clear back in the late 90s. He could throw that thing 350. So I went to Walmart and bought me a dolphin.
Nice.
How'd flicking that dolphin work out for you?
It didn't make the cut. It didn't make the cut.
I've still got a number one slice, and it was coming in pretty quick.
That was my first disc ever.
After the Griffin.
That was my first one. Only disc I was ever gonna need.
Yeah, that sucker's still in the box.
Heck yeah.
He says, how many of my old rhinos is he still throwing?
The EMAC?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a 0 now.
Pig guy.
Yeah, I kind of
really.
I ran out of the rhinos that I liked, and ran into a pig that was kind of my backup, was an upshot disc for a long time, and then when my rhinos kind of went south on me, I started using the pig, and then I was all pig. I still have a rhino that I use for upshot, straight line upshot. It's a pretty used one. It's a beat-in one. But I have a couple other rhinos that just laying around. But I'm pretty much converted to the pig now.
That shows how long it's been since we played. I wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been a while. I mean, I probably haven't had a rhino. I haven't putted with a rhino for a long time. And the EMACs, the rhinos that I ended up getting from EMAC, I was putting with those. And I would throw them for upshots too, but they just were perfectly beat in and the right ones. But I ran out of those, so you got to do what you got to do.
Somebody says they found a lot of your lost pigs at Centennial. I don't know if they're giving them back or not, but they're
yeah.
fine.
I would say, you know what? I have a lot. I have some good luck with Centennial and Lawrence in particular, and we've got a really pretty robust disc golf community here, and there's a lot of college students, of course, so you're going to lose your disc to them. But the people who play a lot are out there a lot. That's your stuff comes back quite a bit. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is. I think it's kind of like that everywhere.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, I would hope. I would like to think that's the case.
Yeah, for the most part. All right, question
number
2.
2.
You get to pick your last fivesome ever. You and 4 people. Who you got?
Yeah, that's I've heard that question of your other folks, and I remember thinking, man, I mean, how do you figure that out? Because you can go a couple different ways with that, and I'm gonna do a mishmash of what you could do. You could pick the absolute best dudes you've ever played with, and you want them all with your card to go have fun, or you could pick a little bit differently. But I did think about that, and so here, number 1 is my brother Kelly. He's gonna no matter what any fivesome I'm ever gonna have, he's gonna be the first dude. And I don't. While I'd prefer not to have Grumpy Kel, which I can get quite a bit, I'll take Grump Kel along with Smash Putt Kel, number 1 every single time. That dude has been my golf. Well, obviously he's my brother, but just a golfing dude for we've been playing about the same amount of time. We just kind of started on different tracks. So he's number 1. George Smith is number 2. I've been battling and playing with George since I began. He started quite a bit before me, actually, or at least a little bit before me. But once I got into the swing of things, I've just played with him all the time. And talk about a guy who's an awesome player, but at the same time, just cool to hang out with and cool to be on your card. I mean, that's.
How's George doing these days? Has anybody heard?
Yeah, he's injured. What I don't know is I wasn't ever quite clued in to exactly what the injury was. I actually just chatted with him on a couple texts because I had some questions for him just a little bit ago, and he's still out of commission. But I'm not quite sure exactly what the injury was. I don't know if it was related to health or if it was like an actual arm, leg, knee. I don't know. But he's been out for a while now.
Yeah, I haven't seen Big George in a lot of years.
Yeah. I think just 2 years ago he was playing the usual every other weekend golf, but last two seasons I think he's been out.
Gotcha.
Or maybe it was just this one, but so the third guy is the dude you had on your last show, and that's Randy Brown. So Randy Brown, when I started to really, really get fired up about disc golf, and he was the local pro, the local pro. It was, of course, crazy, and we're up in KC, but Randy was the local pro, and Bruce was in there, but Randy was the shit, and he was just so cool. I played with him. So back in the day, right, we used to run when you have even a big tournament, even if it was a B tier or not. Okay, they weren't B tier. Even if it was a 2-day tournament at the Emporia Open, the first round, or 2-round or 4-round, the first round was a mix-up. So advanced players or AM players got to play with the pro. You just got thrown out there in that very first round. And a couple times as an advanced player, I got to play with Randy that first round. And it was just incredible. And Randy's got that very unique, but you can, when you see Randy Brown throw, you're like, that's Randy Brown. A lot of spin, straight shots, super control, that's the guy. And so when you start seeing him lighting it up, jamming putts all over the place, that's the guy you kind of want to be, right? So that was certainly. I didn't actually tried to pattern my game off of Climo. When that didn't work real well, I switched over to Crazy. But Randy was kind of the first guy. I kind of thought, okay, this is kind of the guy I want to. Let's see what I can learn from this dude. So, and of course after that, once you find out about Randy, about who he is and how cool a person he was.
Right.
I mean, it's amazing. And at those, I went and played national doubles with him, went down to Texas and we played that. And, I got a huge dose of Randy Brown for a couple of days of being my partner. And that's just, yeah, maybe he was, starting to slow down a bit, but I was playing with a local great, a dude who's I looked up to, and a guy who's still obviously one of the most awesome dudes around.
Yeah.
So I thought about just rolling right down the line, trying to find all the cool people to play with, but I still super uber competitive, and so I'm going to fill the last two slots with two guys that I've watched and wanted to be, or at least wanted to play like them. I won't say want to be, but wanted to play like them. And the first is Ken Climo. Just put him on the card, man. I'm sure he's mellowed, especially now. Now I'm sure it'd be a blast to play with him. Back in the day, playing with Kenny wasn't an enjoyable experience. But just playing around with that guy and watching him throw. That guy has one of the coolest, most awesome form throws that you're ever going to see. Even now, what we just saw him at the USDGC playing in a skins match. That dude throws exactly the same. It's perfect. I mean, it's money. And so I want to watch that and just enjoy that experience. And the final guy is Paul McBeth, just because I want to see that amazing athlete throw a disc. I understand there's all these young guys out there that maybe can throw it further and all this stuff, but I was good enough in a window of time where Paul McBeth was coming up and playing when he was a kid. And I got to play with him for like 2 years, right? Before he got good enough to wipe me every single time I played with him. And he was a nice kid. And so I got to know him. And so at least I know Paul, some. So just having him on the card and watching that machine play, I want to be on a card. You said five-some. I just want to be playing with a dude who's that awesome. You got Kenny and Paul on the card. That's just watching some golf. And I can just imagine having my bro hanging out, just going, "Whoa, dude, this is so, dude. It's just so whatever, man. Let's just go."
So before we get to question 3, it's funny you should you segued me right into this, right? I was going to have this for later, but obviously I did my research on. Of course, I've known you for over 20 years, right? But not everybody does, right? So I just wanted to give some of our people who might not know who you are a little reference in time of the time you were talking about. In 2009, Kevin had his highest rating of all time. He was 1018 rated. So that year at Worlds, I went back and looked at 2009. So you can't look up. Statmando has a lot of great stuff that you can cross-reference. One of the things they don't have is like a list of ratings per year. So I went back in 2009 and pulled up the Worlds, and I figured most of the best players are going to be there. Let's look and see how 1018 fared against the rest of the best players in the world, of which Kevin was. I mean, we Chris, you and I both know. I mean, he was one of the top 25 players in the world at that time. So these are guys that were all within 3 points of you one way or the other. Greg Barsby, Philo Brathwaite, Nate Sexton, Paul McBeth, Steve Brinster, Cale LaVisca.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about 6 of the, absolute legends in our sport. So, for folks who this is the first time ever seeing Kevin Babbit, that's who that guy was back then, and that's who kicked our ass on a weekly basis. Mine for sure. So. But that's a great group, right? You got the dudes. That was before then. That was before Babbitt's prime.
First ever pro win.
Well,
Are you serious?
Yeah. I kept it. That's the reason why.
oh, yeah. That's what
2003.
5, 6 or 3. Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I
that's
remember
good.
it was
I
cold.
remember,
Colder
I
than
didn't,
heck.
I didn't remember you won. For some reason, I thought, I don't know. All I remember is it must have been in March because Babbitt's listening to a KU game on his stupid radio while we're trying to play. I remember it vividly.
With no headphones.
With no headphones, I'm having to listen to his little transition.
That's hilarious. That is so right, man. I remember that.
I remember it too.
It was in March. It was a tournament game.
Yeah, it had to have been like either late February or early March. Like
Yeah, that was early
maybe
March.
conference tournament game.
That's a late NCAA tournament game.
Yeah. Anyway, the old days.
Yep.
Who says rock chalk? Is that E?
It has to be.
Yeah, it has to be.
Rock chalk. Who cares?
I gave EMAC a one of my rocks signed by Sharon Collins.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
How'd you get that? How'd you score that?
He was doing a signing locally, and I walked up with a disc. I walked up with a DX rock with on it, brand new. It had my name on it because I printed a few of them with my name and PDGA number on it, and he was cool. He's like, "What's this?" And I chatted with him just a hair about it. It's a disc golf disc. I just want to sign from a buddy. And he said, "Okay." So he signed that sucker.
You walked off and he said, "What a nerd, that guy."
Probably.
That's
nerd.
But EMAC better still have that sucker. He better not auction that baby off.
He was throwing it on hole 12 last weekend when I was in Emporia. On the wall.
That's good. Good answer, EMAC.
All right. Last question of the three from the tee. And this one's another hard one, but I'm sure you've heard us ask this before. Your favorite disc golf memory?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can't do that, obviously. I will say though that there is, it's kind of all one memory, kind of, but I mean, there's certainly a highlight in there or a few highlights that make it all this crazy memory is the frizz, right? So, and Ty Wheeler, I want to chat about him at some point here, but when it first started, when we first started playing in '95, so we immediately started going to the frizz, and I just the amount of fun that an individual can have, I maxed out. I maxed out the amount of fun that a human being can have at that location, for that weekend. And the very first, I think it's the first one I went to. I guess they run into each other a little. They run into each other a little bit. But Ty and I played moonlight doubles, man. I was rolling out that number one slice. It was a glow disc. I was rolling another. They had those Millennium discs. They had Lightning discs. They had like the plane names, something like an F-14. I can't remember. I was rolling another couple of those Lightning discs, and then I had a rock. I had a glow rock I was throwing. That was my workhorse. But dude, we played glow double. It took for like 5 hours. It took 5 hours to play. We torched it, and it was a perfect evening. We were in golf carts. And we ended up playing we were tied at the end and played against. I can't remember their names now, but a couple guys. That event was just so much fun, and then you want to wrap in all the other various memories. And one of them is the boat going across, on the long hole across the river. You get in the boat, and the dudes take you across the river to play that long par 6 or 7 or whatever the heck it was.
The melon.
Yeah, the melon. That's right, the melon. And then to put the kind of the cherry on top is chasing each other in the darn golf carts. Dude, Kelly, my brother, and I, and Will, my younger brother, were all on a golf cart. And Emac and Worley were chasing us. And we were going all over creation. And we dodged one of those light pole wires, the wires that's going up the light pole from the ground. And we dodged it. They didn't. And they nailed it. Wiped their golf cart out, dude. We were just laughing our ass off. And then later on that night, on the dam, you take your golf cart on the dam, and it was all dew. It was all wet as heck because it's full of dew. And we had raced down the side of the dam, and at the very bottom, you whip your wheel around, and you try to get that golf cart to do a 360. And I flew off a couple times. We ended up rolling the cart, put the cart on its side once. But
it's stunning we don't have golf carts down there anymore.
Dude, no, yeah, that lasted like 3 years in a row, and then it was like done. But I mean that memory is just etched in there, partly because of my bro, partly because of Ty, and just that was my introduction to disc golf and the world of disc golf.
Did you see what they did this year there at all? Have you seen anything?
I looked at it a little bit. I mean, I saw some of Harv's pictures and posts, but I don't.
The McClellans built this long ramp down the hill.
But I didn't know the purpose. Was it a CTP thing?
There was a hole in the ground, and you rolled your disc down through the chute.
Yeah.
And it looked to me like you had to roll it into the hole to score. So they were like putt-putting down this chute that they screwed into a street sign.
I saw the video. I looked cool, but I didn't understand the purpose.
To have fun. I think that's probably where it ends.
I guess so.
Yeah. Well, I can't believe a lawyer would go and get a golf cart and tear it up like that.
I know. You'd think a little decorum would be.
Can I share another memory? Sure.
Yes.
Opposite end of the spectrum. So that was just kind of the roots of disc golf for me anyway. But if you want to talk about just straight competition and just amount of joy that you can get out of playing disc golf and playing well, I had this crazy just series of events that happened that allowed me, at just about any time when I was playing disc golf seriously, I was married and I had a kid or two. And so I didn't actually tour, so to speak. I got out a decent amount, but I'd go out for a weekend and then come back and go out a month later or something if I traveled very far. But in 2008 or 2009, I can't remember which year, one of the two, I had a shot at going to 3 back in the day, it was a super tour. A super tour event was the biggest event you could go to, was a super tour event, A-tier event. And I got a chance to go to 3 in a row. I went to the Des Moines Challenge. I started out the Des Moines Challenge. Then I went and shacked up with some dudes in Minneapolis and went to the Minnesota Majestic. And then I went to the Kansas City Wide Open. All 3 super tour events back to back to back. And I did exceptionally well at all 3. It was just like you get that glimpse of what all these touring dudes are doing. And you're like, oh man, if I could really do that, man, I could hang with these guys. You at least try to say that in your brain. But that was so much fun. And of course, in large part because I got, tied Barry Schultz at the challenge, got 3rd there. was like 6th or something in Minnesota, and then ended up back in Kansas City Wide Open and got 4th at the Wide Open, like a stroke behind Climo there. And that's just one of those runs you just never forget of competitive disc golf play. That is, and where you're playing with all these, amazing players and have a chance to actually do well, not just bringing up the bottom end of the barrel.
Right.
Stealing some of my thunder from later. Yeah. So, and we might as well get into it now. So yeah, one of the things that when I was getting some of the stuff for the folks who might not know you, Kevin, we can call it Super Tour. Now I think when they classify them, so it's kind of hard to look them up, how they classify them on the Statmando or the PDGA website anymore, because they're not classified the same way as A tier. Some of the A tiers got moved up to NTs and that stuff. So all I pulled just for NTs and majors, and that's what they got reclassified as in a lot of cases. Kevin played 19 events, and there was obviously a lot more A tiers that aren't in that group. How many times in those 19 national tours or majors do you think you cashed, Kevin? I'll help you out.
18.
You actually missed 2.
2.
You missed the 2010 USDGC.
Oh, that one doesn't count.
That one don't count.
It does, but I got hurt. Yeah, I got hurt. Yeah.
And the 04 Wide Open.
Yeah, the Wide Open. I remember that one.
And that was the only time. So Kevin, from what I could find, other than Eric, has played tied for the second most USDGCs as a Kansan.
Yeah.
Right. Six USDGCs.
That sounds right. Yeah.
5 cashes. 23rd place finish in 2006.
Those fields were essentially world championship fields.
Absolutely, the best field in the sport, right? Yeah. So that's what I was gonna reference. And in 2006, averaged 1019 for the event for 23rd. In 2009, averaged 1020 for 33rd in the event.
Yeah. We're getting a grand for that 30th place back then, dude.
Yep,
that was huge.
Yep. Yeah, almost $1,100, 1,090 in 2006.
Nice.
So, and then the World Championships, right? So, a couple of pretty nice finishes at the World Championships too. 2001, 24th place at the World Championships. So, 1999, his best finish ever. You remember what 1999 was?
Rochester,
New York.
Yeah.
Top 20.
Yeah.
Right. So average 993 golf for top 20 at the Worlds, but just 10 years later, averaged 1020 at the USDCs for 33rd.
They messed around with the ratings a little bit.
They did. It has changed quite a bit, but that's just a reference. And like I said, there's a lot of the ones that are not necessarily in there in all cases, because the Wide Open in Des Moines being like NT or A tier according to what it is now, but that's just the major ones. So that's pretty impressive record, sir.
Throwing the USDGC out, because if there's a tournament I could pick to go to every single year, that's it. That's the most fun tournament in my opinion. Best, most well ran, super fair course, just awesome.
Yeah.
Throw that out. What would be the course of the tournament that you would want to go play every single year if you could?
Yeah, boy, that's a great question. I mean, it's probably, if it's not that, it's probably the Challenge. Now, I mean, of course, my vision of that isn't the Pro Tour Challenge that they're playing now in Des Moines. Although that's a fabulous course, in my world, it would be the 2-day tournament in Des Moines, A Tour or Super Tour, whatever you want to call it, that's run on all 4 courses: Ewing, Pickard, Walnut Ridge, and then the other one up north. But
Big Creek or something. Isn't it?
you're right, Big Creek. Although it's been neutered now because a bunch of trees died. So as long as those three, Ewing, Walnut Ridge, and the Challenge, those guys run a fabulous show, and you can't find another group of horses that are any better than that. You can't.
Yeah, you've been telling me for years I need to.
You can't do it.
I need to go there.
Yeah. And if and you know, I'll put Hayes in the equation, man.
It's a fun one, isn't it?
It is. Like that's fun.
I looked at some stats too, not as in depth as Ronnie did, but 1 year at Hayes, and this was early. This was one of your early top finishes. You got second at the Frontier Open to a disc golf legend that people don't even know.
Yeah.
Mike Randolph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I'd gotten to play with him more, but Hayes and a few. I played with him a couple bigger events, the Wide Open and some other bit that he was going to, but
he played Emporia once. I don't remember if it was before it was Glass Blown Open.
I was hurt. I've blown my knee. And I was unable to play the year that he came down to Emporia to play that tournament. So I saw him, but that's all that happened. Yeah, that must have been 2003. I blew my knee and was out for an entire year. The only blemish on I think I was 999 for like that 2003 year is the only hitch in my 1,000 rated run for about 12 or 13 years. Maybe it's 11. I think I oversold myself. It was more like 11 years.
It was long. I looked it up.
Well, you're right there now. I mean, you're 997 or something, 95. You're high 990s now.
98. But I meant an uninterrupted run.
Oh,
uninterrupted
1,000 the whole time.
Yeah, a decade. Yeah, over a decade.
Wow,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
It was. So
there was a time where 1,000 rated was.
It
it's not what it is today.
More than it does today. Yeah.
Yeah, it was hard to shoot.
Yeah.
1,000 rated.
Kevin was 1,000 rated, essentially, with the exception of a couple of updates there when he got hurt. Basically, from 2001 all the way through the early part of looks like 2011.
Yeah.
That's
So 10
awesome.
basically 10 straight years of being at least 1,000 rated with, and for a long time, there's a lot of that stretch where it's, basically 3 full years of 10 or above. And back then, 12, 15 years ago, 10's about what like 1030 is today. So that's there wasn't a whole lot of people on the planet that were over 10 at that point.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, well, you said you wanted to talk about Ty. I'm assuming Ty, and you said he was the first person to give you discs. Is that how you got started?
That's right, man. So I graduated law school in '94, and then got my first job as a lawyer in Emporia, Kansas. And Ty Wheeler was the managing attorney of Kansas Legal Services, which is the group which is the law firm that hired me. And Ty Wheeler, Ty was the managing lawyer at that office. So he hired me, and we hit it off. And one of the ways we hit it off was he just took me out and went, hey, let's go play some, what disc golf is? No, let's go do it. And he played, so he grew up in Topeka, and he knew Wisby because they'd gone to high school together. And of course, Wiz had played back in the day in Topeka. So he played in Topeka a little bit. So he was itching to get back out and play and have somebody go do something with. And so he grabbed me and introduced me. And that started about let's see. So I was 95. He had his kid in like 99. So from 1995 to 1998 or 9, we played a ridiculous amount of golf. I mean, our wives, I'm sure, were pissed to no end. But that was before we had kids. So we were only pissing off the honeys. We didn't actually have the kid responsibility at that point. So we played all, we went to Frizz, we played tournaments, we went here, we went there. And, we were a great match. We went to AM National Doubles down to Texas, had a great time. That was a year that Greenleaf and Stoney won, right? Won national doubles in the AM side, and Ty and I got 10th. But so yeah, I just started a run of playing golf, and at some point I picked it up better than he did, and he was a little frustrated by that. But we go back to memories. I talk about memories, kind of our kind of final kind of end fleeing of our bachelor. Bachelor kind of life was when we went to Am Worlds in 1997. Ty's dad actually made some shirt. He paid for us to have these shirts. I think it said something. For all I remember, it might have said Hills Pet Foods or something, or Colgate on the back. I don't know what it says, because his dad was a higher up at Hills in Topeka. But his dad was supportive of us going up there. We took a car. We went to we went to a Super Tour AM event in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I won that event. We stuck the basket that I won in the car. Then we drove from there to that was in Ann Arbor. The Great Lakes Open was in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So we played that big tournament. I won that one. And then we drove over to Grand Rapids the following Tuesday to start playing the 1997 Amateur Worlds. And I got second there, but it got me another basket. So one of the wild things was we actually had a hard time fitting all our stuff in his car to make it back. I had 2 baskets. And but anyway, we played some after that, off and on, and he's not playing hardly at all now, just due to health issues. But that dude, we just had a great time, and shout out to Ty Wheeler, because he's the man who showed it to me, and he's the guy that we had so much fun with at the Frizz and just playing golf. He was my disc golf dude.
The lovable Lawyers Open. That's right. I mean, yeah. You want to start getting into some Emporia story? Let's go there. Let's talk about that.
Let's do. I had that wrote down in Emporia Open, right? So Emporia Open might have been one of the first non-Wichita tournaments I played in. I might have played a couple hours before that, but that's been a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, so when we started, there was a nice group of golfers, and Brett Stone, Tony Carty, Tony's brother, and Scott Rote. I don't know if you guys remember, Scott Rote was kind of the treasurer, but they were kind of running the show down there. But then at some point, Ty and I kind of took the reins over, and Ty started running the Emporia. He was the next TD after they had done it. He was the next TD of the Emporia Open. So we're probably talking 99, 2000, something like that. And but at that time, I don't remember the exact years we did this, but at the time, Emporia had one course. It had the West course, and the very first shot at putting an East course in was done by Ty with my help. We put in a pretty short but fun east course with just dirt tee pads on the east side. I don't know, for maybe it was in 90, 99, 2000, right around in there. And we had a course. Did we have a full 18? I don't think we had a full 18. I think we only ran 9 over there. But that was kind of the very first shot at doing something on the east side. And then, so Ty and I, and then once Ty TD'd it 1 year, maybe 2, and then I TD'd it. I was the TD of the Emporia Open like the next a year or 2 after that. And then, of course, so we're into the mid 2000s probably now. And then Eric McCabe and Gabe took it over from there, and it went. And at some point after that, it converted from the Emporia Open to the Glassblown Open. But certainly, Ty and I played a role in continuing that Emporia Open tradition, because it was a good big tournament. Even before we started, it was a nice B tier tournament, or at least B tier before the PDGA started running it up. It was a nice, one of the bigger turnout events of the year. And then once it turned into sanctioned events, it was a B tier. So yeah, that was we dabbled in kind of running the Emporia show for a while.
Eric says, I think it's Eric. I can't see who's responding. It only makes sense it would be Eric. But he says you only had one set of baskets at that time, so you would play the west, and then you'd move the baskets to the east.
Oh man, I didn't remember that. Okay.
Yeah, you probably delegated that job.
That's right. Wow. Yeah, Emporia's had an amazing disc golf community for a long time.
Yeah.
You got a lot of disc golf there now.
Only just destroyed by Rusko and Eric and the group since then.
It's pretty crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel it's so cool because, of course, Jeremy was just a interested AM coming to Emporia Leagues there starting out.
I think I read somewhere that the DDO or GBO, whatever it is going to be called, is all going to be back on one weekend next year.
Next year?
I think I read that. I may have made that up, but gosh, I hope so. That was always so awesome to go there, and it would just be everybody there, and you can be 10 foot from Ken Climo. So yeah, Eric says, that's true. Yeah. So I think that's what really set that tournament apart from everything else, was just how much was going on in town. And gosh, it was so awesome just to, I'm a disc golf nerd, so I would get done with my round, and luckily most of the time I sucked enough I could get done and go watch most of the final 18 holes for the big boys.
Oh yeah.
So one year I played Masters there, and I made the lead card. I was like, this will be pretty cool. No, we finished at the exact same time, so I never got to watch any of it.
Right. Yeah, that sucked. I remember that too, because unfortunately, I wasn't at that one, but I was rooting for you so hard that you were that close, dude, to grab.
I know.
Well, you don't have to worry about that anymore.
I assume all three of us will be in attendance to Masters Worlds there this year.
Yeah.
That
would be fun.
Yeah, maybe. I'm struggling right now, man. As you saw this weekend, Ronnie.
I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, if we have to go into details, I mean, I know two people played and one person won.
We played an awesome format. You'll have to watch Lucas's video. It's gonna be a good watch.
The skins thing?
No. This was
Herman Hill has 2 sets of baskets in right now.
Oh,
okay, brand new ones and old ones, and we teed off on hole 1. Okay, and whoever was out got to go first. Say what?
Who's we?
Me and Ronnie.
Okay.
And whoever was out, as normal golf, got to go first. And if you would hole out, that basket was taken off of you couldn't putt. Ronnie, if I put it in the short basket, Ronnie couldn't use it. He had to go to the long basket if I made it. So Yeah, there's one hole where I'm just sitting pretty for a 3. I mean, I threw a bad drive. I almost made the upshot. And this jerk, freaking 18 feet from a crappy basket, spins around, uphill putt from 35 or 40 feet, dead square, boom.
Oh,
Yeah, so I had to throw to the other basket, which of course I
Right.
missed, and then I had to
Right.
make a putt for a 5.
It's so we didn't call it in the video for YouTube's sake, but it's shit on your neighbor is essentially the best
right.
way,
Yeah, that sounds right.
the best way to describe it. It was a lot of fun. It's we won't spoil the video, but it's gotta be a good watch because there's there it's
There's some
fraught
good
with,
shots, and then there's some real bad shots.
there's a couple of bad
Unbelievably
decisions,
bad.
couple of poor decisions made, and maybe a
It
little
was
bit of
fun.
shit talking. So it's I'm sure it's a pretty good watch.
It was fun.
It was a good time.
So let me see what I got here. Oh, Dick Parker chimed in earlier, and he said, "Hey, ask him about the cool course he played over the weekend." So how'd you like Dick's new course, and where was it?
Yeah, it's at a ball golf course in DeSoto, Kansas. So just just east of Florence.
Mm-hmm.
And Dick has done a really nice job. So this isn't your classic Baldwin City, Kansas 18-hole golf course. And by that I mean small town disc golf course kind of in the middle of nowhere, where really all they do is there's a couple trees in the fairway, and then the green is maybe mowed, and it kind of goes here and there, and maybe there's a one hill in the whole place. This place is rolling, lots of trees. I mean, I'm sure what happened is Dick somehow ran into it. I don't recall the story of how he ran into it, and looked at it and went, "Oh, this would be cool to put a disc golf setup on," and that's exactly what he did. And he has set up a nice par 60 something course on that, and so your entry fee pays for the golf cart. And I prayed with my brother, just to play with him, and you play singles in the morning, and then you play doubles in the afternoon. But the course itself is really nice. He did it's well thought out. It's probably a little, Dick really wants to know, it's probably a little heavy on the big arm side, but that's just a whiny short arm thrower comment on the course. But even with that, it's fun. I mean, most of the holes are birdieable, but not just because you have to throw 2 good shots on the par 4s, and the par 3s are a pretty nice little hole. So yeah, I recommend that place, although I don't really want to recommend it because it'll fill up quick. And
is it there? Like if I would going through, could I stop and play it, or is it just like set up for the tournament?
No, that's Dick's goal, but it's only set up for the tournament.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I'm driving through Kansas City quite often now, so I'm looking for places to play along the way. I did get to play. What's Eric's new course?
Oh, Blackhoof.
Blackhoof. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did get to play that before, right towards the end of the summer, and that was
that's a
pretty
challenge.
Cool.
That's a challenge. Yeah.
Tough golf course.
We pretty much went through most of the questions that I had. We nailed them without even asking them. We got off on tangents and talked about them. But
nice.
There's Annie. Did you see Annie? But did you think disc golf would ever get to the place where it is now? I mean, we've been saying for as long as we've been playing that, we're about to break through, we're about to get there, but we're there.
I think I gave up on it. Yeah, no, I pretty much thought, nah, it's always just going to kind of be this. And yeah, maybe the Nike will come at some point and dump some money in, for a year or something. That was kind of my top end. So no, I never imagined that Paul Macbeth would get a 10-year, $10 million contract. And then I didn't imagine that would kind of continue a little bit. I kind of thought that was going to be oops.
There's going to be some potential big ones in the next few months here, like Eagle.
Yeah.
Eagle is up. Say what?
Gannon,
yeah. But for my dollar, man, if I had to put my money on somebody, Eagle is. Good gosh, if he wouldn't have hurt his elbow,
you're right.
That's you can't even explain what that guy can do with the frisbee.
He's a freak talent.
Yeah, and so
I agree. Yeah.
How much do you nerd out on disc golf? Are you a live coverage guy? You a post production?
I've generally been post production. The live coverage, I'm not into watching it enough to, unless it's a crummy day outside, I'm gonna go play golf rather than watch it. And if it's any reasonable out, I'm either doing stuff outside or I'm playing golf. I mean, that's I play a lot of golf these days because both my kids are out of the house. So usually it's post production. Although I will say, I mean, some of these bigger ones, I've chimed into the live coverage. I mean, but Joe Mez usually is where it's at, and I do. I'm not quite as. I noticed that you.
I'm asking who bring me as extra bags.
Running some fantasy.
Yeah, we do grip 6 thing.
That's cool. I've kind of thought about jumping in on that, but I'm not quite that into it. Man,
yeah, Ronnie and I are pretty nerdy. I'm just gonna tell you that. we're watching disc golf and we're watching football and we're calling each other names via text message and
that's great, man. Yeah.
But yeah, that whole grip 6 thing we did started out. It was a lot of fun at first, but we kind of got doing some stuff that wasn't so much fun, and it just kind of lost its fizz. And
it jumped the shark.
And there's nothing on the line, so that kind of takes some of the fun. It's like playing your buddy for free. Wouldn't you rather play him for $5?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Did EMAC ever tell you that we when he was obviously starting to become a super stud, we would challenge each other to $2 rounds. We'd go play for $2. We were so cheap that the only amount of money we'd ever willing to put up. Hey Eric, $2, man, let's go. Okay, let's go.
Those are probably some pretty epic rounds.
Oh yeah, you know it, man.
I mean,
that $2.
two of the bigger guns in the history of Kansas duking it out on local course daily.
That was fun, as he was smashing putts from all over the place coming up. Those rounds were fun, man.
I bet, man. You got the. Did he start playing after you?
Yeah, he did. But
so you got to see the progression from new kid on the course to the man.
When I started, I got fired up about it really fast and got serious about it fast. My feeling, and Eric, I'm pretty sure I'm accurate on this. My feeling is that Eric slow played it for a little while. So he probably started playing about the same time I did. Of course, he was like 10 or something. I don't know how old he was, but he slow played it for a while, and then decided, oh yeah, I could play this game. I'm gonna start torching. So I had a window of time where I smoked on him as often as I could.
Yeah, I bet.
It didn't last.
I bet.
Didn't last that long though.
No. Well, he got pretty good, didn't he? About 2010, he was pretty good for a while there.
He did. all right.
Yeah. I will. Okay, look. Before you close, I got to share one annoying thing about EMAC.
Let's hear it.
So I went to National Double. I convinced LaRon Harris to go to National Doubles with me, right? And I thought I'd hit a freaking home run, and I did. And I got LaRon Harris to leave Kansas City. Are you kidding me? Had that ever happened? I don't know if it ever happened, unless other than Des Moines. I got him to leave Kansas City and go to Round Rock, Texas, to play national doubles. And we were that close to winning that thing. We got second. We got second to two locals. You know, Stokely and Hammock were behind us. These two locals, big throwers, guys, they won that year. And so I'm like, LaRon, the next year I'm like, LaRon, we got to run this back. And guess who LaRon decided to go pick? Oh, I'm going to pick EMAC because he's the freaking deal. Well, so my answer to that was, either of you remember David Keel? Well, he was a young guy who lived here. He actually lived in Lawrence, I think. He would always, when he putted, he would flip the disc like 100 times. You couldn't watch him putt. You couldn't do it. If you watched him putt, you would just freak out. You would go insane. I had to turn my back to watch him. I couldn't watch him putt. Flip, 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 and then all of a sudden, bam. But he was really good. Now, he wasn't as good as LaRon, but he was really good. And we didn't get second, third, fourth, fifth, or sixth. I think maybe we got 10th or something. We darn well beat LaRon and Eric.
You're not still bitter about that whole thing at all, are you?
I am bitter, and it's all EMAC's fault because he thought he was a shit. and LaRon saw. So that's my annoying Eric McCabe story about how he stole LaRon Harris from me.
Man, LaRon comes up in almost every one of these episodes. Something about him comes up. Randy Brown called me after he was on the show. I was driving home from a tournament. He called me and he's like, Smitty, I just got to tell you one more story. I wish I would have told it on the show. And I'm like, I got time. Let's hear it. Well, apparently Randy was up at Swope Park in Kansas City and they were doing a maximum time aloft. And Randy threw this disc way up high and he was racing across the parking lot to try to catch this disc as LaRon supposedly pulls in with this smoke show, as Randy called it, in a nice car, and the disc hit the car. Well, Randy was like, oh, God, oh, boy. And LaRon got out, and he said, Randy said he went up to him and said, hey, act like you're scared. And he like told Randy, you son of a bitch, you whatever. So yeah, Randy,
That's good stuff.
You know, he shared multiple stories with me on that ride.
Good.
It's awesome.
I'm sure he's got twice as many as I do. That dude's been around.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's probably a little more risque life than you too at times.
There might have been a little more alcohol involved than in mine. That's true.
Yeah.
And some other
IPAs
stuff.
get you a little crazy.
Yeah.
You got anything else for us?
No, man, this has been a blast. I'm sure I could dredge up some other stuff, but it's been a blast just having a chat with you guys. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh man, I'm glad you did it, Kev, and I'm glad we could introduce you maybe to some people who don't know of you because you don't come down to
I will say that's a regret, right? So I moved from Emporia in 2006. I moved to Lawrence because family and all this kind of stuff. And I grew up around here anyway. But that is a continuing regret is that I'm unable, or I'm not a travel machine enough to make it to all the cool Beloit, McPherson, all that's Winfield. I mean, every single time I check the Ulster calendar and I always think, okay, I'm going to pick somewhere to go. I just haven't done it. It's a long freaking drive, and I'm not a good driver. Unlike Ty would hop in a car and drive for 5 hours, and he would just do it. I'm not that kind of guy. So to drive 2.5 hours to a tournament, that's
the EMAC thing too. That dude was a road warrior.
Oh, that's true, man. Back, yeah, you had to back then.
One time, we went to Cedar Hill in Texas in the old red Dodge. Do you remember the Dodge? Eric's Dodge pickup?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was just a single cab, but it was Eric driving, Liz Lopez in the middle, and me riding shotgun. And I don't know if we stopped. Eric was just down the road. Yeah.
I do. Now that you say that, I do think he's a machine.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not that way.
I hate driving.
Yeah, I hate it. I can't.
Yeah. I almost didn't go to Worlds this year because it was 14 hours away.
Right. Yeah, I get it, man.
Only reason I went is because Ronnie said, "Hey, we should go to Worlds."
Good job, Ronnie. Way to get Smitty out.
Things seem to have worked out pretty well for him.
Yeah, he owes you. He better be paying up.
Yeah. Oh, I'm paying up.
Good. That's
Not
good.
because of that, but because of some bets.
That's good.
You can't beat this guy in a bet, dude. This is the luckiest man you'll ever meet.
Some call it luck. Well, probably is luck, but that's all right.
At least once a month, he sends me some video of, "Oh, I had 10 minutes, so I ran into a casino," and the slot machine's just going, dropping money on him.
Yeah.
What was your last win?
I hit $1,000 at the airport coming back from Las Vegas last weekend.
Yeah, I saw his grand post. I just won a grand.
He sends me all these.
Oh, I did.
Slips.
So I did win. So when I went to, I went to Disc Golf Masters Tour in Tulsa in May and just happened to go to the casino that night because the NBA playoffs was like a 25-point game. And I was like, I'll just go to the casino for an hour. And I wasn't tired yet and hit 15,000 bucks.
Dude.
Yeah. So it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
So it was a good trip. I ended up having to drive halfway home because they wouldn't write me a check. So I had $11,000 in cash after they took the taxes out. And I wasn't going to leave that in my car at Black Hawk Park.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah.
Should have got 11 racks, dude.
Drove halfway home and had Mama meet me, and she took it home. She took it the rest of the way to the house, and I drove back to Tulsa because I had a 3:00 tee time.
And somehow you only had 5,000 when you got home.
5,000 more than I left with, so that's all good.
If George Smith was injured, I'd throw you in there on that fivesome, Smitty.
Oh, I'd love to be on it, but I understand. You had an amazing list. You know George Smith has 2 PDJ numbers?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he sure as heck does.
I just know the one he's got is way the heck older than mine.
Well, I can't believe yours is 11110.
Yeah.
How the heck do you not get 1111111?
Yeah.
But yeah, George has 2 PDJ numbers. So I was going to mention that.
Are they both lower than mine?
How does that happen?
He had one and then he won one or something. I forget the story, but yeah, he's got 2 of them. Both 4 digits, I think.
Wow.
Isn't he like 3,000 and something?
I got Statmando up.
Search him, you might find both of them. But yeah,
4034.
that's an old one.
Yeah.
4034.
That's rivaling.
There's a lot of events there. They may have merged.
There.
506 PDGA events
For George?
Oh yeah, that talk about a machine.
Yeah.
That's a big number, dude.
That dude's a machine. Like he's like, I suppose there are other machines like Schwebe's like the ultimate machine, but George Smith's a machine.
That's got to be up there among the most events ever played.
It's a lot.
I don't know.
There's dudes now playing 50 a year.
Yeah, well, so as part of one of the things I looked at, so one of the things I had researched when I was looking. You three are in the top 3 of events, all-time events played without ever having a DNF in the state of Kansas.
Who is?
Both of you are in the top 3 for events played in the state of Kansas without a DNF.
Or
But you know who is second?
We never gave up and started kicking our disc down the fairway either.
Yeah. Although Smitty, you gotta be like double me, dude. You're a machine.
Oh, if KDJ events count, if there was a record of KDJ events, I'd have a crap ton of events.
You'd be close to 1,000 if they count.
Oh yeah,
if those count.
Sure. So who is second without a DNF? Is that what you ask us?
Yeah, Emporia, Isaiah. That shows you how many events these kids play these days.
Wow.
And that's just in the state of Kansas. Isaiah's played 112 sanctioned events.
Oof. That's crazy.
And he's like 8 years old.
Not anymore. He even has a little mustache now.
Maybe he's like 17 or something now, but I mean,
yeah,
or 19 or whatever he is. But yeah, I mean, they just play so much like Keenan. I think Keenan played like 47 events last year or something like that.
He's probably on pace for that this year.
I mean, it's bonkers. That's like as many sanctioned events as I've played in my lifetime, right? I went so many years without playing any sanctioned events. Like Chris and I always talk about, it was Emporia Open, or it was Duda, or it was Hayes. And like in the state of Kansas, there wasn't a whole lot other than that, right? Not to play sanctioned golf.
Right.
I mean, you had Chunganunga and a couple of other opportunities, but as far as sanctioned play, it wasn't out there to even do. And then, they added Roundup in Wichita quite a few years after Duda was a sanctioned event. But yeah, now, I mean, if you want to play a sanctioned event, there's 5 within 200 miles almost every weekend. And you can play 2 or 3 in a day if you want to play flex tier stuff. So it's crazy.
Or league, PDJ league,
or sanctioned leagues.
Yeah. All right, boys. Thanks for coming, Kev. That was a blast, man.
Yeah, appreciate it, Kevin. Good catching up with you. I haven't seen you in forever. I can't wait to.
Yeah, Ronnie, we gotta hook up, play around. I played with Smitty off and on. I haven't played with you for a long time.
I know it. I need to hit you up when I'm coming through the area.
Yeah, I'm the same problem. I'm not down in your neck of the woods. You're not in my neck of the woods.
Yeah, I just need to get over to. We're trying to move into the Lawrence market anyway, so maybe I'll come up and see you.
There you go, man. Bring it. I've got a bed down here that's just free and ready to go.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
All right. Thanks,
All right, guys. We'll see you. Good catching up.